Merry Christmas everybody, Doodle here, and I wanted to do one more little video before we let 2023 sail off into the night. It's been a packed year for gaming, and I'm going to be honest, I did not get to most of the games I wanted to play this year. But the ones I did play, wow, they left such a deep impression on me. I'll start with my top 5 games that both came out this year and were my favorite, before wrapping up with some unexpected ones that left an impact on me, but were technically from years past. So, yeah, let's hop into it. In a time when many of the top studios feel like they're doing the same thing, it was so cool to see Venba, an indie game themed around an immigrant story and a mother's journey in restoring recipes of her Tamil culture. When I saw the first trailer, I was excited because it looked like we were going to be getting another Cooking Mama-esque game. And while it did not live up to that concept, it way surpassed any expectation in its ability to tell a touching story. Venba's visuals are so striking, and the use of texture and brushstrokes give its vibrant foods a really lively feel. This game shines in being a succinct experience that left a strong impact on me despite only being maybe 2 hours long. There are certain twists to the story that also allow it to feel unique versus other tales of people immigrating to a new country. While I do wish it was a little longer just because it's such an enjoyable game, it's also so refreshing to get an experience that can be done in one setting. From the visuals to the music, Venba is rich in its flavors, and I really recommend it to anybody looking for an indie story game. Another sweet, thoughtful indie game with its own striking style and concept was Season, A Letter to the Future. In this game, you bike around a sort of beautiful but haunting world in hopes of documenting the people, sights, and sounds that you encounter before the world comes to an end. Through taking pictures, recording audio, and capturing drawings, you get to fill out this unique sketchbook of your own, getting to choose what goes on each page. The story slowly unravels as you bike from place to place, bouncing between peaceful, serene nature and melancholy interviews with people scattered around. It has a very reflective energy to it, and for an indie game, I was really impressed by the diversity of environments and the folks that you meet along the way. While some may feel this game doesn't amount to any big realization moments on what exactly happened to this world, I think that the emotions that Season, A Letter to the Future evokes are what really make it special. It feels like a slight cheat adding this as it's a game from almost 27 years ago, but thanks to Super Mario RPG getting a full remaster, it's a good chance for me to document my little take on it. Super Mario RPG is pretty close to its title. We've got Mario meets Final Fantasy with turn-based combat, over-the-top bad guys, and a whole host of fantastic characters. I think what ended up standing out the most to me was how weird this game was willing to be, especially for the time that it came out. Out of nowhere, you'll be rolling on barrels, you'll watch as Bowser kisses Mario, you have a chance to pretend to be a statue. I really appreciate that this game had so much fun with itself, and I can totally see how that pizzazz went on to inspire the Paper Mario series. Great writing meets beautiful cutscenes with iconic music to boot, Super Mario RPG really brings an old school experience back to life. This was a cozy experience for sure, and it gives me hope that Nintendo will pour more love into remastering its older games so they can live on in a new, fresh way. Alright guys, let's be real. No other game does it quite like the Pikmin series. It's so cute and yet so distressing. It makes you smile with its top-notch environments and then cry as they turn out to be full of insane beasts. A real-time strategy game that will truly test your will, Pikmin 4 finally came out this year. While it wasn't perfect in its controls and I wish I could toggle off the auto-aim, that is such a small gripe. I loved the return of treasures and caves and getting to see fresh new locations that were bigger than ever. It was so fun to make your own funky looking character, and for the first time ever, we got to be in the world at night. And of course, there was Ochi. This weird dog alien guy ended up being such an unexpected highlight, both in how lovable he turned out to be, as well as how fun it was to use him. After so many years of fearing Pikmin would never see the light of day, I'm so happy and excited that Pikmin 4 ended up being a home run. I know I already expressed this in my Game Awards video, but I have to say it again, Baldur's Gate 3 was my 2023 Game of the Year, no question. With BioWare in its dark era, I've been missing Mass Effect and Dragon Age with their deep story and character-driven role-playing. The scale of those games is so impossible for most studios to grapple with, to be able to develop intricate storylines where your decisions can really have an impact. And yet, Baldur's Gate 3 took many of those concepts and brought them to the next level. I loved getting to create such a unique character and feeling like it actually had an impact on the way I went about the world. To really develop relationships with a band of characters that all had interesting personalities and perspectives, all that in grand environments with endless quality voice acting and an epic soundtrack. While it didn't quite stick the landing with its ending, the other 95% of the game was near perfect. No doubt I will be going back to Baldur's Gate 3 for the rest of my life, as it becomes a classic of the gaming genre. Whew, alrighty, but it's not always about the freshest experiences. While I loved all those games, I want to also take a dive into some experiences that I had that came out from years past. This past year, while I did enjoy playing both PaRappa 1 and 2, the second would be the one to really nail the concept for me. An older PS2 title, PaRappa is a rapping rhythm game with adorable creatures, bold visual design, and fantastic music. I love that this game knows how to have fun and not take itself too seriously, being both lighthearted, silly, and wholesome. In an attempt to keep noodles from taking over the world, you'll rap about toasting buns, joining the army, and cutting hair. The first PaRappa had some janky gameplay moments, but the sequel is able to better handle its rhythm and be so smooth to play. Another quick game that is perfect for a sit down or two. If you're looking to mix up your beat, definitely give PaRappa a try. When Cuphead came out back in 2017, it was an unexpected hit for me. As somebody who tends to avoid repetitive gameplay and crazy high difficulty, I was apprehensive I'd enjoy a side-scrolling run and gun all about challenging bosses. But of course, I, like many others, was drawn in by that amazing 2D animated art style. Thankfully this year, I'd finally have a chance to reunite with my brother and return to the Cuphead world to finish the job with the delicious Last Course DLC. I love that they added in some fun gameplay mix-ups. We've got Miss Chalice, an all-new character with a different style of play, parry-based bosses that require a very different strategy, and extra wacky boss switch-ups. I enjoyed this DLC so much that I went home and beat it all over again a couple days later. Studio MDHR knocked it out of the park again with crazy character designs, bombastic jazz music, and clever levels. Even though I'm sad this is Cuphead's last course, I cannot wait to see what that studio cooks up next. As a big console Zelda fan, it might surprise some that Tears of the Kingdom didn't end up on my top of the year list. While I'll save that for another video, I am happy to say that I did get a great Zelda experience this year through 2019's Link's Awakening remaster. I haven't played the old 2D Zeldas, though I did deeply enjoy A Link Between Worlds back on the 3DS. So this remake was going to be my first foray into the retro titles. Initially I was inspired to pick it up from its clay-like art style. I loved the warm color palette and the simple models mixed with detailed textures. Before I knew it though, I was having a blast running around the map and having a little adventure. It was so nice to go back to a more linear Zelda, one with really thoughtful dungeons and puzzles. I really enjoyed the quirky look of the enemies and the villagers. This game really had a lot of personality. While I and many others may prefer the console Zeldas, I also hope Nintendo doesn't see it as an all-or-nothing scenario. With how refined the 2D side of the series can be, it'd be great to see both get their own spotlight in the future. All in all, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening was a real treat for me this year. And there we have it. 2023 was a stacked year for gaming. I imagine in no small part due to all these games that had delays finally getting their chance to see full releases. For the Switch especially, it feels like this was their last big year before we begin to see the hype for the next console. That all being said, I would love to hear what games left an impact on you. I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas, and in case I don't get any other videos out this year, I really want to say thank you for joining me on this channel. I'm really excited to continue this video making journey, and to have already reached 400 subs in just 2 months is like, wow, just so wow, so cool, and seriously, thank you, and may the rest of your 2023 be bright and cheery. And that all being said, Doodle out.